Oh, Christophe, so nice to see you. So great. So this is Christophe Choo. Hello.
Wow.
Hi, Coldwell Banker Reliable. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Oh, we're good.
Good. Thank you.
So everyone, there's a value in coaching, in real estate coaching, because without real estate coaching, I would have never met Christophe Choo. Our beloved Joseph Hamden, he's also been a coach with Tom Ferry. I met Christophe Choo a million years ago, sat next to him. It was my honor. And you know, the moment you start following this man, you can't stop following this man. He's always got something going on. He always has something up for $10 million, but he's also servicing the lower priced homes as well. So we have 10 questions for Christophe, and I believe I should just begin outside of the fact that he's one of the most celebrated realtors, real estate agents in the world within our Coldwell Banker community. We're gonna find out more about Christophe, and let's start with number one. So Christophe, so nice to have you today. Thank you again for taking out your busy schedule for us today. And wanted to ask you, how did you start your career, and what were some of the difficulties you had to overcome to be successful?
Oh, well, that's a good question. So I did start my career in real estate pretty young. I had just turned 18 when I got my license, and it kind of came about where when I was 16, I was discovered here in LA by a modeling agent, and I became a fashion model. So I was traveling quite a bit around the world, and my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife of almost 30 years, she didn't like me traveling around the world on flights and with all these models all having fun all the time, right? So she said to me, why don't you get a more stable job? And I was 18 years old. I wasn't even 18, yeah, I was 18, I guess. Young and dumb, and I thought, she said, how about real estate? And I thought, I could be my own boss, I could drive a fancy car, I could show pretty houses, and I could make a lot of money. I had no idea there were such things as escrows and loans and inspections and title. I had no clue. I just thought you just showed houses and you made money. So I got my license, and I was hired. The first office I went to, they did not hire me. I was living with my family at the time. I was 18, and it was an office near our house. And the manager said to me, what are your goals? I said, I want to make $1 million a year and drive a Rolls Royce. Well, she thought I was nuts. So she didn't hire me. She's like, no, I don't think you're the right fit for our office. So I went to the next office close by, which was in an area called Hancock Park. The manager did hire me, and I was there for about a year, and I had done one sale. It was a $43,000 co-op, which there are very few in LA. And I sold it. It was a $1,700 commission. And my manager called me in, and she says, you know, Christophe, you've been here for over a year, and you really haven't done any business, so you've got 90 days or you have to leave the office. So I guess that gave me some motivation. I started going to conferences. In those days, it was a Roger Butcher. Do you guys ever, any of you old timers remember Roger Butcher?
No,
probably not.
I'm not that old.
Too many young people here. So he basically taught me how to call expired listings and for sale by owners. So I started doing that, and that's kind of how it started. So it was a rough beginning because, you know, I was 18 years old. None of my friends or family were buying or selling. So I had to just start, you know, calling expireds and for sale by owners and knocking on their doors. And that's kind of how I started my career. And it immediately went to like 15 deals and 20 deals and 35 deals. So that's kind of how it started.
And what's so important to me, Christophe, is that you are self-made. You weren't relying on all sorts of contacts to receive new listings and have the neighbor's house for sale. You started from the ground up. And I think that's really important for everyone to hear, because when I look at your advertising, it looks as if you've just been swimming in this ever since you were born, but you started self-made.
People often think that don't know me that I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I came from Beverly Hills. I was from a rich family. None of that is true. My mom was a hairdresser. My stepdad worked at a rare bookstore. We lived in the east side of town. My parents were just regular folks. And I just always had a dream. And from when I was 12 years old, I started working. My mom, I would go to her beauty shop on Saturdays at 12 years old, and some of her customers needed their apartments cleaned. So I would clean their apartments, but I was 12 years old making $60 in 4 hours cleaning an apartment. So yeah, I'd clean apartments, I valet park cars, I worked at the Hollywood Bowl, I worked as a waiter in a restaurant, I did every kind of job. So yeah, it was all on my own.
Amen, that's golden, thank you. So we wanna ask you, how do you start your day, and what does the schedule look like? I know you have a lot going on with the nonprofit this coming week, but generally start your day.
So I typically start my days around 5:30, 6 o'clock is when I wake up. I like to wake up before the sun rises when I can. I do a morning meditation. I lay in bed and I have a guided meditation to kind of start my day off. Because I don't know about you, sometimes I wake up at 5 and I can't go back to sleep. And then my head is just spinning with all the things I got to do, or worries and fears and disappointments, upsetment. I think we all have that. I certainly do. So I've got to get that out of my mind. So I do a meditation. And then as I'm getting ready in the morning, I listen to another kind of guided affirmation while I'm getting ready and dressed and, getting myself together. Then I try to take a walk in the morning. I don't always have time to do that. Then on the way to the office, which is a pretty short commute, it's only about 6-7 minutes to my office in Beverly Hills, but I listen to podcasts. In the old days, it was cassette tapes and CDs, but now it's podcasts. So whether it's Tom Ferry or Gary Vaynerchuk or a marketing expert, I listen in the car. That's my education. I don't listen to the news ever, or watch the news or the radio, none of that stuff. And I get to the office.
So you haven't been looking at the politics the past 2 weeks.
Nope. Only thing I did listen to the radio the other day, and I stopped listening because it was too many commercials. All I wanted to know was who was our mayor and did the luxury tax pass. That's all I cared about.
Let's move on,
I
right?
don't watch the news.
We don't need that. That's dangerous stuff.
That's a bad road to go down, in my opinion.
My opinion as well.
Yeah. So I get to the office, and then I do my emails, do my social media posts first thing in the morning, do my little birthday posts. Every morning at 9 a.m., I have an affirmation partner where we call each other and we read affirmations to each other on the phone to kind of start our day. And part of that process is I have to do 3 things. I have to release all of the negative thoughts in my body. So I do a guided affirmation on the phone, where I literally talk about shaking out all the negative things in my body, letting that go. And I visualize it coming out of my head like steam coming out of a train. And in the sunshine, I'm like, okay, it's burned out. Then I focus on my gratitude every day. No matter what, I have to focus on what I'm grateful for, which starts off with being alive and healthy, and my friends and family, and my company, and my team, and my past, present, future clients, and food and water and a roof over my head. So gratitude. And then we do affirmations on the intentions for the day. We always talk about getting miracle calls from amazing sellers and buyers. So that's kind of how it starts. And then by 9 o'clock, my staff come in, and then we just start, what we have to do for that day, projects, marketing, and that. But it always starts off with, setting the day right with my mindset and that. So that's really the best way I start my day.
I think we need to lead our new moon and full moon meditation guides, Christophe. I will be calling on you for that. Okay, my friend?
That sounds good. I like that.
All right.
Oh, I love to have an accountability partner. You have affirmations. We all know that Gino Blafari, he still does his affirmations. What you might not know, Nazar, of whom we know, he's one of my best friends on the planet. And
Nazar Kalangian?
Absolutely. And we connected on with Tom Ferry, of course, and we did our accountability every week together for the first year. So it really that's crucial. As far as what do you think is most important in achieving success in this business, which is maybe a tough question, but if you could answer.
What's most important to achieving success?
Right. Like, what do you think, your personal opinion, as far as, there's so many things that we can touch on, but what is your kind of daily most important message that you'd want to bring to everyone?
Well, first of all, you have to have written goals and plans, and your goals and plans have to be multifold. It has to be your business, has to be your personal life, has to be your health, your relationships, your family. We have we have to see ourselves as a wheel, right? We're a wheel with spokes. Every spoke, if you have a wheel and only a couple spokes are all the way, then the wheel's going to be all bumpy. And so look at your life as a wheel. It's called the wheel of life, actually. And you're like, okay, my health, my business, my family, my friends, my associates, all those spokes. And you do yourself a little chart, like here's a circle, put the little lines of all the things, and then rate yourself. If you're 0 in the middle and 100 at the top, where are you? And then if you do a little dot, connect the dots, you can see, oh my gosh, my wheel is kind of lopsided because this side of my life is not being taken care of, or this side is too high. So I think it's very important to really always know where you're going. And then once you know where you're going and what you want, then you have to have a plan in place to do it. And then every day you have to take action on that plan in some small way to keep moving the needle forward in that direction for every single aspect.
Excellent. So I wrote down the words wheel of life, and Robert Krieger, our director of sales, he is always discussing business plan. So we will take action on that.
And I'm sure there are graphics on Google that should talk about the wheel of life. I'm sure I got it somewhere. So.
Oh no, I'm gonna research. Absolutely. So what steps did you take to kind of level up the business? So we know you now have a team. I'm sure you've had support for a very long time. You were shifting from working all by yourself to having support, how did you do that?
Well, first of all, I shifted from another area because I wanted to be in a higher price point. When I was in Hancock Park, which is only a 5 miles east of Beverly Hills, my average price point at that time was $280, about $300,000. And it just wasn't exciting to me. I've always wanted luxury, and I'm really tuned into art, architecture, design, antiquities. I love the arts, so I had to move myself physically to Beverly Hills, which I did. I just was at a management meeting. I talked to the manager, said, "Would you like to join the office?" I said, "Absolutely." I just packed my stuff and physically moved myself here to Beverly Hills, and then little by little, you just thought, "Okay, I need to add this person. I need to add that person," and it's always evolving and changing. I mean, nothing lasts forever, so you have to just constantly retool yourself and readjust and pivot to the new situation. So that's kind of how that all started.
Thank you. And this leads to the next, as far as how did you manage to kind of expand the team? Did you hire an assistant first, or did you work with a junior agent first? How did you start doing that?
I've never worked with another agent like together. I've had assistants since I was about, I think my second year in the business, I got an assistant. I was coaching with Mike Fury at the time. And I remember him saying that if you don't have an assistant, you're the assistant. And
Yes.
I knew, and back in those days, we would have to calculate what is our value per hour, right? And a top real estate agent should be making a couple thousand, $2,000 to $4,000 an hour of their own personal time. So why would I be working an assistant's job that's $25 or $30 an hour, where my time is worth a lot more? So I've always had assistants. I've never been without an assistant ever. And which also is coaching. I've had coaches consistently since 1990, I think, second year after I was in the business.
Right. And you've had exponential results from the coaching, I think. So
absolutely.
So as far as the lead on your most impressive sale, or what you regard as your most impressive sale, where did that lead come from, and what was the selling price of that home?
So I can't talk about the most expensive, but one of the most expensive ones, and this is, gosh, now 14, 15 years ago, I always tell people when I speak, do what you love and always do the right thing, and people will be attracted to you. So for those of you who probably don't know, but I'm really into art, antiquities, and jewelry. I love jewelry, and I love buying jewelry for my wife, and she has quite a substantial collection. So there was a jewelry store here in West Hollywood. I would go to, every week was Caravan, I don't know if you still have that, where we'd go for 3 hours and look at all the new listings. So I would strategically end up in that area so that I could go to her shop, look at the jewelry, and have lunch with her and a martini, and then continue my day. So I buy all this jewelry for her, and years and years of it. So she would have parties for her best clients. And I would say that most of my top high-end clients came from really high-end luxury parties. So we met this couple at one of her parties. We became friends, and we started going to their house for parties. And they had truly one of the most beautiful houses in Los Angeles, in an area called Holmby Hills, which is actually more expensive than Beverly Hills. Holmby Hills is where the Playboy Mansion is and where the Spelling Mansion is. I mean, they have homes over $100 million. So I remember I work almost all the time. So I remember it was a Sunday morning. We did not have iPhones in those days. So I'm at the office at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, and the phone rings at my desk, and I pick up the phone, and it's the wife. Oh, was it? I think it was the wife, or I don't know if it was the wife or the husband. Like, we want to talk to you about selling our house. I'm like, great. And he says to me, I said, when do you want to meet? He says, tomorrow. I said, why do you want to sell that spectacular house? Well, we're going to be moving out of the country. Great. So I said, he said, let's meet tomorrow morning, Monday at 8 o'clock. So at that time, my highest sale was $5 million. And I believe at that time I knew the house was somewhere in the $25, $30 million range. So I called to my wife. I said, look, I've got a major appointment tomorrow with our friend Steve and Robin. I said, so I've got to stay at the office and really prepare for this. Now, I was mentally and physically prepared, but he was a CEO of a couple companies, and I wanted to make sure my presentation was really, really spot on. So I spent, I think, 6 or 7 hours that day putting together a beautiful presentation, and went to him the next day, met him in the morning. I didn't show him the presentation. Do you remember the Mike Fury days, the 4 questions for listing? Mm-hmm. My first question was, do you absolutely have to sell your home? He's like, well, yes, we do. I said, and why are you selling? Well, we're moving to South Korea. I said, great. Are you willing to price your home to sell? And he says, well, what price do you think? I said, well, it's worth 22 to 23 million. I said, he said, what do you want to list it for? I said, 26.5. He says to me, nope, I want to list it for 30 million. I said, well, that's high. If you list it for 30 million, I need a 1-year listing agreement. He said, okay. Then I said, if I sell your house in the next 60 to 90 days, is that okay with you? He says, no, it was October. He says, no, because we're not leaving the country till July. I said, great. And then it came to commission. And I'd run this through my mind over and over again. He says, what's your commission? And I know no one in this price range of 20, 30 million would ask for 6%. I smiled, I said 6%. It was typed in the contract. And we didn't have win forms in those days. It was literally typed by the typewriter. And he says to me, I'm only paying you $1 million to sell this house. So I knew that was fine. I wanted the listing. So I scratched out 6% and I wrote in $1 million. And lo and behold, 13, 14 months later, we sold the house for 22.5 million and we got paid $1 million. So that's what, oh, and the best part of this story is, I think it was when they were getting ready to leave, they're like, well, Christophe, you know, my brother-in-law was going to live at the house. It was a 15,000 square foot house on a big piece of property with tennis court and all that. And he had the art collection and antiques were worth more than the house. So he was concerned about it being vacant. And his brother-in-law was going to stay, but they have 2 children going to school and it didn't work out. He's like, would you and your wife mind living at the house while it's for sale? And I called up my wife and said, honey, you know, they want us to live at the house. She's, yes, of course.
More parties.
No, it's true. So we moved in the house. We had quite a few parties at the house to promote the property, and
Right.
of course, personal parties. And I almost double-ended the property from one of the parties, but it didn't quite work out. He wouldn't pay the price. But so that was really really fun, exciting listing. And it came from buying jewelry and doing what I love. And when I look back at most of my 30, 40, 50, $60 million listings, they all came from connections of people I met at events and parties,
Right.
including charity events.
That's great. And they come with this is that you were at the office on Sunday at 8 a.m. if we
Yep.
can say time, right? And then I wrote down 1-year listing agreement.
Yep.
Right? These things are really important to me. I mean, we have so much traffic at our Harlem, Manhattan office on Saturday and Sunday morning. You know, that's when huge amount of traffic because that's when people are kind of out there buying a bagel and getting relaxed.
And you never know who you're going to meet. Yesterday at lunch, I go out to lunch every single day, and we're sitting at lunch, this couple, and I could see he had a very expensive AP watch, and she had nice diamond jewelry and Cartier bracelets, and they had 2 little children, and they just bought costumes for them. And I said, well, would you guys like for me to take a photo of you guys together? I said, oh, we'd love that. Because I said, I know when I'm when I'm out and you forget, oh, I didn't have a picture with the family, right? So I said, what brings you? I said, you're not from LA, are you? They're like, no, we're from Chicago. I said, what brings you to LA? I said, we're actually here looking to buy a house. And I'm like, do you have an agent? And they're like, no. I said, well, here's my card.
There you go.
So always look for opportunities and never be afraid to say hello and not necessarily ask for something, but just see what you can do to help them somehow. If you see someone looking around like, where do I go? Especially in Manhattan. Oh, can I help you with directions? You know, you never know who they are.
So I want to ask, you've been with Coldwell Banker for a very long time. I apologize, I don't know the exact timeline, but how has Coldwell Banker benefited your business these past 2 or 3 decades? Because I know you've spoken in Abu Dhabi, I think. You've kind of been all around the world. How has it impacted your business?
So particularly in the luxury space, I've been with the company since I started. We were not Coldwell Banker, but Coldwell Banker purchased us at one point in time. And when I first started, I felt the company was John Douglas Company, was the best company in LA for luxury. And when Coldwell Banker bought us out, I liked them and I felt they were a great company, and they still are the best company in my opinion in real estate. Coldwell Banker has been a huge support to me, both from the national marketing team, the local marketing team, the management, and also the network I built since Gen Blue started, you know, the Gen Blue conference, which I highly recommend all of you to attend Gen Blue every year. Gen Blue is where and particularly, you know, your guys are in New York. A lot of buyers are from out of the country, right? So for me, and I speak several languages, I love to travel around the world. So starting at the first Gen Blue 14 or 15 years ago, I met, you know, Laurent Banda, the owners of Coldwell Banker France and Monaco, then the owners of Italy, the owners of Spain, the owners of India, the owners, because all the franchise office companies outside of the United States are franchisees. You know, there's one master franchise holder, and then he sells franchises to different broker owners for different locations. So I just started meeting them and introducing myself, going to lunches with them. And then when I go to Paris, I call up Laurent Vanna and say, hey, Laurent Vanna, let's go ahead and have lunch and dinner together. Let me come to your office and talk about our market and talk to your agents about marketing or videos or whatever. And I do the same thing when I go to Dubai or anywhere I go around the world, because they truly are the creme de la creme of the luxury agents around the world. And it's really nice to have them. And I can be on a listing appointment and they'll say, well, how are you going to market my house internationally, right? I said, it's real simple. I said, I just pick up my phone, my personal network of my friends that own companies outside the country, and I call them and send them videos or ask them to promote it to their office meetings. So Coldwell Banker just has the best tools and the best information and just the best strength, particularly now with the market and so many companies laying people off. Coldwell Banker is very well positioned. So, so if it wasn't, I wouldn't be here. But you know, I have no reason to leave, and I've always felt really supported well by a company, like I said, locally in my office. You know, Southern California, and then nationally, and then internationally.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. And you're very big on branding. I do want to say I have a background that says Christophe sells LA on the mountaintop. But my background changed last minute, so this is some garden. But how has coaching impacted your business? I mean, I know you were directly with Tom Ferry, I think, for a while. How has that impacted your business?
Yeah, so I started with Mike Ferry, Tom's father, for the first, I don't know, 10 years or so. And then with Mike Ferry, when Tom left Mike's company, I then joined Tom coaching with him. I couldn't be without coaching because, again, kind of like being part of Coldwell Banker, I have great coaching calls. Really, Tom provides the best to-the-date information of really what's needed today. And, you know, the world has changed so much in real estate in the last I've been doing this for 33 years. I mean, back in the day, we barely had computers. You know, we had fax machines. A lot of you young people don't even know what a fax machine is. So coaching really doesn't put me where we are today. It puts me in the future. Like, you know, with videos, I did a post yesterday about when Tom Ferry made me buy my first video camera in 2007, and I started doing my first videos. That's helped me become the #1 video influencer in America for real estate. And but you know, with the right coach and coaching company, or right points that are taught to me, and if you take them and you do them, it can really help you grow your business or make you have a better life. It's more peaceful, more comfortable, happier. So it's not just coaching for business. It's really life coaching, in my opinion.
Right.
Thank you, Christophe. I wrote down the words "puts me in the future," so that's really pivotal, I think. And as far as the nonprofit, so I've been looking at your stuff. What are you? I know what you're involved with, but share with everybody what you're involved with. Share with everyone what you're doing this coming week.
Okay, so I am involved with a number of nonprofits. The one I'm working on this week and this month, and I've been involved with them for maybe 15, 16 years. It's a group called Covenant House, and they have them in New York. They have them all across the world. Covenant House is a homeless youth shelter. Here we have two of them one in Los Angeles and one in East Bay, San Francisco. So, and again, this came by a fluke about 16 years ago. A friend of ours who used to be she used to work for Ronald Reagan at the White House in his PR department or something like that. And or social secretary, I think she was. So she called me up. She says, Christophe, have you ever considered being on a board of a charity? I said, I don't really know anything about it. She said, well, there's a homeless shelter here in Hollywood that's looking for board members, and I think you'd be a good fit. So I went to join, and I really liked the cause because when I was young, my parents were great supporters. My stepfather and I didn't get along, but I had really big dreams and ideas. And my mom was a hairdresser. She didn't understand them. My stepfather and I were like oil and water, so he didn't understand them. So I had a couple of teachers that believed in me and really believed in my dreams. And they're like, I don't know how you're going to do it, but you're going to make it. So I thought, this is my opportunity to give back to the young people today that need someone just to believe in them or support them or give them some direction or help them. And I thought, I've learned so much in my business. I can help teach young people how to grow and make plans for their life and all that. And so, so what I'm doing this coming week is we've been doing now for about 9 years. It's called an annual sleep out, where we literally sleep on the streets in Hollywood on the cement. We get two cardboard boxes, what do you call it? A sleeping bag.
Right.
And basically from, we get there at 7, we have a nice dinner with the youth that are in our shelter. We have I think about 400 youth living in our shelter here in Hollywood. And they talk about how they got off the streets and how Covenant House has helped them and where they are in their life now. And then we literally go and we sleep on the street till 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, so that for one night we can actually get a taste and feel of what they deal with every single night of the year. And so part of it is raising awareness. I've been doing pretty much every day a different video or post about the sleep out. And I will physically do the sleep out. We've had 7, 8 people on my team some years. This year, I'm not sure how many are coming, might be 4 or 5.
They join you. The team joins.
Pardon?
Oh, I was saying the team joins you with this.
Absolutely, yes,
Right,
yes.
right.
And there are other teams. I don't do this just on my own. Years ago when we started, there were like 15 of us, but this year will probably be about 150 people, because
Wow.
Delta Airlines and a lot of other big companies now do this as well. And they have, like, Delta has their own team, and this one has their own team. And I think we typically raise between $400,000 to $800,000 that night for the sleep out. And one of the things I love about it is 100% of every single dollar that we raise goes directly to helping the youth. There's no admin fees. There's no like in a lot of charities, 30% of the money goes to nonsense. So that's what we're doing. So next Thursday, think of me. I'll be out in the cold in my sleeping bag. And I've been there when it's rained. And I posted a video on Sunday where I was in the cardboard box at 2:30, and I'm like, I think it's starting to rain. My feet are getting wet. So that's this week's event or next week's event.
And I have one more question, and feel free to add anything else that's on your mind. You've been very generous with your time, Christophe, honestly.
Thank you. Yeah.
My pleasure.
Yes.
Absolutely. We started at 8:15 this morning in your time, right? But so what online tools do you use or have you used in the past year to help your business? And is there anything else you want to add? And then I'll kind of go to Joe right after. But go ahead, please.
So there really are, I shouldn't say there are none, but that we pretty much use every online tool available to us. I would just share this. I think the most important online tools today are social media. YouTube, social media, and Google. Those are the 3 most important things. YouTube, obviously, because you're building a brand, you're building your name in the community, and particularly in a city like New York or the state of New York, or like in Beverly Hills, LA. You know how many foreign buyers I have received from my YouTube videos? They'll just start searching Beverly Hills or Bel Air or Holmby Hills or Hollywood Hills. My videos pop up on Google because Google, as 2007 bought YouTube. And then we'll start a conversation. Then 3 months, 6 months, 9 months later, they'll come to LA and I'll sell them a $6, $10, $15 million house. So YouTube is number 1. Google is number 1 and number 2. If you don't have a Google business profile, you need to get one. That's one of the most important things you can do. If you go on your computer and you type in Beverly Hills Real Estate, Beverly Hills Luxury Agent, I will pop up 1, 2, or 3 in the Google Maps.
Yeah, and I want to add right here is that basically, I don't know when these videos started, but you have some just kind of raw, random videos, if I can call them that have like, I don't know, 100,000 views. These aren't necessarily videos that you spend 100 hours creating. This is a video that you took, or maybe your support took, and you posted it up, and there's this attraction toward you. So I think it's incredible. Joe Hamden, he is our agency owner and founder. So I want
Which
to.
one is Joe? Which one is Joe? Wave
I'm Joe, and I'm Joe
Joe.
Hamden. Nice to see you, Christophe. Bo Holtz also is our owner out in the Hamptons.
Yeah.
Robert Krieger is our director of sales, along with the rest of our management team here. Thank you so much for joining us. We've followed your career for as long as we've been affiliated with Coldwell Banker, since 2008. And you've always been someone that we kind of strive to be like. You're a industry pillar. So we really thank you for joining us. And I think there's a couple of questions in the chat. If we've got 2 minutes, Todd, if you want to take a look at that, if Christophe has time.
Yeah, I'm fine. We're good.
Okay.
No, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Christophe. So yeah, I'm taking a look. So as far as cold calling, I imagine that you are not cold calling anymore. Maybe you're doing warm calling. Do you feel like that is still an important part of luxury business and selling homes?
It is. And again, the first 16 years of my career, all I did was cold call. And I didn't just call, just cold. I was calling expireds and for sale by owners. I thought, instead of calling 150 people to see maybe who wants to buy or sell and nurture them, I like instant gratification. I knew if I called a for sale by owner or called an expired, just got myself face to face with them, I can get a listing. So I believe calling is very important today. Nowadays, it's really just calling your sphere and past clients, because I have a lot of those. And so that's, you always have to make your calls no matter what.
Okay, and then at this moment, I mean, certainly you're promoting your business a lot. Are you actively searching for business, or is everyone just attracted to you and things that you do?
I am always searching for business, but mostly it does come to me nowadays, which is much nicer. But if you're just waiting for it to come to you, there's no way to really duplicate or predict. You just never know when you get that magic call. And I do get the magical calls. But if you call a certain number of hours a day, or knock a certain number of doors a day, or mail a certain amount of mailers a day, a week, a month, then you can more predict what the results are going to be. So yeah, I should do more of that predictable stuff than just waiting for it to happen. But on the other hand, I believe in the law of attraction. And I think the more I do what I do, the more people are attracted and come to me and want to do business. And if someone calls me to do, because of my videos, I know they're going to buy. I remember it was 4 years doing videos after Tom had me start, right, Todd? And I remember coaching with Tom every week. I said, Tom, it's been 4 years. I've done 800 videos. I haven't monetized it, right? I said, I don't understand. He said, Christophe, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. It's going to happen. And maybe 30 days later, I got a random phone call. Long and short of the story, she called me from the car in the morning. I was at the office. We had a 40-minute conversation. She was dropping off her daughter at school and I had to go back home. She wanted to buy a house for 10 to 12 million. She wanted to sell her house for around 5 million. So we started talking. I went to meet her. She had been working with another Coldwell Banker agent for a year and was not happy. So I had to go interview with her and her husband as a buyer's agent, which I'd never done before. And I met them, and we sat at the living room sofa, and I said, within about 50, he's one of the biggest attorneys in the country, real estate attorney of all things, huge attorney. But they called me because of my videos. She saw my videos, and that's how she found me, and she liked me. So we sat down, and I just got a good feeling. And I had this yellow notepad because I asked permission. I said, "Do you mind if I take notes like an attorney would?" So about 10 minutes into the conversation, I kind of put my notepad down. I said, "I like you." I said, "I think you guys like me. Why don't we just get started and let's find you a house?" And the husband said, "Christophe, my wife decided to hire you from day one, the first time she spoke to you on the phone." I said, "Then what am I doing here?" He says, "I just wanted to meet you face to face." And now 13 years later, they bought a house for 11 million. I sold a house for 5. Last year, they bought a beach house for 7.4 million. And I've received 4 other referrals from them totaling about 20 million, all from 2 YouTube videos. One was a driving tour of a neighborhood that they liked. And one was my helicopter tour, my first expensive video. And she said to me, I said, "Why did you call me from those 2 videos?" She says, "Well, number one, if you spend that much money on a helicopter tour, you'll spend money to market my house for sale. And number 2, she said, you were very honest." And I said, "Well, how so?" "On this driving tour, it's an area called Stone Canyon in Bel Air. It's a canyon." And I said in the video, I said, "If you're a sun lover, even though it's a great neighborhood with trees, it's very rustic, it may not be for you because the sun will rise a couple hours later in the morning because of the mountain and will set a couple hours earlier in the afternoon." And they were in escrow on an $11 million house on that street. But when they came at 3 o'clock in the afternoon in summertime and the pool had no sun because the mountain was already blocking the sun, they canceled the deal. So again, it took 4 years though to start monetizing videos, but it happened.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Ferry, he used to kind of shout a lot, honestly. So 15 years ago, I had a similar experience where he was just like kind of raising his voice to me. If you're not going to do a video, then there's just no point in doing anything in real estate. Yeah. So I went out and did some crazy video, and then it went viral, and then hallelujah, so coaching, working with other agents across the country, there's a huge impact to this, right?
I remember you were going in front of all the townhouses going like this.
That's right. That's the one.
God bless for remembering. So we had a question. It's interesting. You referenced the $40,000 home or the $50,000 home. I do want to say, I think that was in the late 1990s, and that home is worth like $500,000 now, I think, right?
There's not a home in my area less than pretty much 2 million.
Well, amen, exactly, right? So because it was at like the price point, and you were in a different neighborhood. So that's what it was back then. I mean, my first sale was 200,000. But anyway, what would be a mental hurdle that you might go through a challenge you've had the past couple of years? I mean, I see you stay away from the news. That's incredible.
Yes.
So you stay away from the noise, I think. Is that the kind of the primary?
Absolutely. I got to fill my head with good things. And the bottom line with social media today, you just turn on your phone, look at Facebook. If something really is going on, someone's going to say something's going to pop up, right? So what do I need to sit down in front of CNN or something and watch that all happen? And in terms of price point, I want to mention something. Of course, I love and I'm best suited for the ultra high-end luxury properties, which luxury starts in our market at 5 million, but I really love the 10 million, $20 million plus stuff. That's what I really love. But I don't ever turn down any business. And over the years, before I was selling high-end, my high-end friends were like, well, we only thought you sold the lower end, couldn't sell our high-end property, right? And nowadays I'll have past clients say, and I'm like, why did you list your house for 1.5 million? Well, I see you only have stuff over 5 million. I didn't think you want to sell my $1.4 million house. So I try now, like I'll do posts sometimes, I like, whether you have a mansion or a shack, I sell everything. And like last year, we sold, one of my past clients had a little condo that she was renting in the Valley for $450,000. She had it marked with 3 brokers, couldn't sell it. I went there one time, I solicited and sold it. So we take everything. Right now, we've got stuff for 1.2, 2.5. We do all price ranges. So don't think I'm just, the luxury bougie broker. I sell everything. So.
And you cover the map. So we have one last thing. So our director of agent services in the Hamptons, she's dying to know, her name is Liz, and she's dying to know what you did with that $1 million in funds. And
what jewelry? I want to know what piece of jewelry you bought with your $1 million commission.
Well, first of all, the $1 million commission, I had to split it with Jade Mills because Jade Mills represented the buyer. But she got $500,000 and I got $500,000. But at that, and I'm always changing. So it was because we closed. It was December. It was like right after Christmas we closed, and then before the new year. And in my meditations, my mind kept saying to me, "Do not buy anything. Do not buy anything next year. Nothing." I don't know why, but I think we sold that house in 2006 or 2007, but it was December. So I listened to that voice, and that next year I did not buy a single piece of jewelry, a single piece of clothing. And then what happened? The market crash of October 2008. Right?
Wow.
No, even though, but in the past before that, I'd have 2 or 3 escrows ready to close or 5 escrows. And I'm like, ooh, I've got all these commissions coming. I'd go out and buy something on my credit card thinking, oh, the deal's going to close. And some of the deals don't close. Right. So,
right.
But after that big deal, I did not buy a single thing.
So, Christophe, the questions keep coming. So we have one more. I mean,
I'm okay with it. I'm good.
You're fine? Okay, so it's interesting that this person just asked this question as far as, because when you and I started, we could just show up to an open house, work with a leading agent, we'd get a buyer, right? Now technology has kind of taken over a lot of the leads. How do you navigate through that? What is your experience with that? Where do you see this going for the next 5 years as far as technology and the real estate community?
Well, it's really constantly changing for sure. And now that the market's cooled off, all those iLeads and all those Zillow Pay leads, that's kind of gone now, right? So to me, I still truly believe in picking up the phone, calling people. You meet someone, you follow up with them. And a lot of people, I don't like to pick up my phone unless I'm in the middle of a deal or something. So I quite often just have my little tripod and I just shoot a little 30-second, 30-second minute video to send to clients, new clients that I just met or clients I'm nurturing. So I believe really keeping in touch with people. And another great thing that we have now that we didn't have before is when Facebook birthdays come up, I hope you're always wishing your friends and family and clients happy birthdays. Or you see their kids just graduated from high school and they're going to USC. You call them and congratulate them. Pay attention to your clients and friends' special moments and let them know you care. Then they'll hopefully think of you when they're ready to buy or sell real estate, or have a friend that wants to buy or sell real estate. So I think that's an important element of technology that people, it's another birthday. Oh, I'm tired of writing the birthdays. Well, why not write a nice birthday message? Make it unique and special and beautiful. And every year I do that, and people seem to really love my birthday messages. And they think, wow, Christophe took the time to send me a birthday message. You know what I mean? There are other people that either don't send me birthday messages. So unfriend.
Well, there's one message, use of Facebook. It's the birthdays. Now, someone in the Hamptons wants us to return to when you were 18. Like, what were you doing? So you were selling these lower priced homes. This was in Hancock Place, or we're in Hancock, LA.
Hancock Park, yes.
I'm so sorry, Hancock Park. I have been there. I messed up the neighborhood name. So what were you doing at that time? I mean, were you just working 18 hours a day? What was going on in your life?
So when I first started out the first year, all I knew about was, you know, the typical stuff they teach you. You do open houses, you sit floor desk, right? So do you guys have floor desk in New York? We don't really have that anymore. Yeah.
Yes.
So I was doing 2 open houses a week. I think 1 in the weekday, 1 in the Sundays, or maybe Saturdays, but 2 a week consistently. I would meet people, but never made any deals from that. And then I do the floor desk where you sit there. In those days, you had to literally sit at the desk for like 4 hours, right? And it was boring. And then you might get a call, you might not get a call. Nothing came from that. And that's why when a year later, the manager, you know, basically gave me a come to Jesus call, like, you know, meeting, you gotta, so, and then I somehow found this Roger Butcher seminar, and I went, and I'm like, okay, I can't sit and wait for business to come, because I was basically sitting and waiting for business to come to me.
Right.
But at 18, 19 years old, there was nobody that I knew that would come to me, and open houses didn't work, and the floor desk calls didn't work. So I had to go myself to all these people. And it started off with, I would have little cards, and I would send a handwritten card to every single expired listing, and then I would call them. So I started going after business instead of waiting for business to come to me.
Absolutely. I think that's golden to end on. I mean, I want to respect if Joe or Robert has something else to discuss, but we really treasure this experience, Christophe, like you can't imagine. So to have a man like yourself join us and just go over all these life-changing events that you had in real estate is really phenomenal. Joe, would you have any last words for us?
Yeah, just Christophe, again, thank you so much. We really, really appreciate you being here. I know that the agents that are here and our leadership team have gotten a lot out of this meeting. I especially love that you're still calling and that there's still a prospecting element to your business, because we push that every day, and it's really important. But again, thank you so much for joining us. And if you have any referrals in New York City or the Hamptons, we'd love to help you.
What's so funny about, everything is tied. So all of our really mostly Upper East Side wealthy friends in New York, they have their apartments or townhouses in the Upper East Side. They have their houses in the Hamptons. They have their condos or houses in Palm Beach, and then their places in Aspen, right? Isn't that the 4 points of New York? It's like, we got to do a season in Palm Springs, season in Aspen, season in the Hamptons. So it's interesting how that all works. But I'm very, very grateful that you asked me to come speak with you guys. I really appreciate it. And I would love this this video so I could put it on my podcast and all that. And also another encouragement, you guys are probably all in the luxury market. I encourage you to go to the Global Luxury events. We had the Global Luxury event in July, which was fantastic.
Engage.
And Michael Aldno is our new head, and he's terrific. So go to those events. Make sure to come say hello to me so we can meet face to face at the event. And then also connect with me on social. When we're done, go to YouTube. I mean, all the platforms, and just type in my name, and let's become friends on social and keep the conversation going. But I thank you all so much, and I feel very honored that you asked me to be on your call today.
Thank you so much. You're an incredible guy, Christophe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Christophe, take care.